All right, bro, so you want to take Anadrol, one of the most potent orals that you can possibly take to gain a lot of muscle fast in bodybuilding. This is not a beginner-friendly option. This is something you take later on down your enhancement journey once you have some decent experience under your belt with more mild compounds, such as VAR, such as Test, okay? But it is an excellent compound for a specific use case we're going to go over in this video. First off, what is Anadrol, okay? Medically, Anadrol is used to treat different types of anemia, to boost red blood cell production in your system. Very similar to Anavar, okay? It's used to gain mass after an illness or surgery or to treat different types of anemia once again. So I do like Anadrol for that reason. It is designed for humans, which makes it an excellent choice as opposed to a compound like Trend, like something that is not produced for humans to take. Anadrol is part of the DHT family, all right? This is going to cause massive androgenic sides, massive androgenic effects. When a compound is androgenic, that means you'll get masculinizing effects. So that means male pattern baldness, increased facial hair growth, a deeper voice. This compound will aid with that. That may be a pro and con for some people, but just know that you will get androgenic related side effects taking the compound. It is from the DHT family when it comes to gear compounds. In a bodybuilding context, Anadrol is crazy, okay? This is one of those compounds where you take it and instantly within 2 to 4 weeks, people are asking you what the fuck you're on. This is that compound. Okay, so you're gonna gain a lot of muscle, a lot of lean tissue, very quick taking the compound. A lot of it will be water bloat. If you're looking at the scale, you see the scale increasing very quick. A lot of it is going to be water bloat. Anadrol is notorious for causing bloating sides, but you will gain a lot of mass quick. Strength will boost through the fucking roof taking this shit. Okay, and that's why it is one of those quick compounds that you will see people when they get a quick transformation, they're typically taking Anadrol on top of some other compound. You would typically take this in a bulking context. You would never take Anadrol in a shred context. If you see people taking Anadrol during a shred, they're absolutely using this compound incorrectly. You will only be using this in a bulk context, typically during a kickstart, during specific blasts to get that initial boost of strength and size while you're waiting for those long-lasting compounds to kick in during your cycle, such as DECA or compounds of this nature that will take longer to kick in. Now, typical dosing when you're gonna take Anadrol can range anywhere from 50 milligrams to 100 milligrams, upwards of 200 to 300 milligrams. This is for extreme use cases, of course. But if you are new to the compound, you'll see people taking anywhere from 50 to 100 milligrams a day. This is a perfect dose to get some really good results without that excess toxicity. If you're in that IBB Pro Olympia caliber range, you'll take higher doses, of course, but you're gonna have to take high doses for everything that you take to maintain that super physiological amount of mass. But for normal recreational users, 50 to 100 milligrams is a perfect dose. Now, of course, you want to stack this on top of Test. You don't want to take any compound, whether it be Mast, Winnie, VAR, Tren, Anadrol, Halo, whatever it is, you don't want to take these compounds without a test base. We'll get into the sides in a bit, but Anadrol is massively suppressive. So you do want to take this on top of a test base for amazing results. You never want to run this longer than 6 weeks at a time, okay? Because of the toxicity to your liver, this is a compound that you should be taking quick, that will go in and out of your system just for that boost for a specific time frame, whether you're trying to look full for a shoot, whether you're trying to get that kickstart to your bulk blast. That's what you want to use this compound for. You never want to push this longer than a 6-week time duration. 2, 4, 6 weeks, these are perfect time durations to take it without that excess toxicity. When you see people run into massive sides from Anadrol, it's typically because they're using it for a long period of time, upwards of 12 weeks, 16 weeks at a time. You don't want to do this. You're putting yourself at massive risk if you take this for a prolonged period of time. Now, what are the pros, okay? Crazy, crazy fast muscle gain. Crazy fast, okay? That's why when you see people get these quick boosts of weight gain or fullness, they typically are taking Anadrol, okay? When people are asking like, what the fuck are you on? That type of person, they're gonna be taking Anadrol. Okay, you can see anywhere from 20 to 30 pounds gained in a 6-week time frame taking this shit. Again, a lot is gonna be water bloat, but a lot is going to be muscle as well, assuming the fact that you're progressively overloading that weight. Which brings me to the next point of strength. This compound will absolutely boost strength through the roof. You can sometimes add roughly 40 to 60 pounds of weight onto your lifts, whether it be a bench, a deadlift, a squat. in like 2 weeks. So it's that compound. It is that compound to gain that strength and that size fast. Appetite's gonna spike as well. You're gonna get an appetite spike. Now, this can be very genetically dependent on what you run into specifically, because I have seen a lot of my clients actually get appetite suppression taking Anadrol as opposed to that spike in appetites. But if you are getting appetite suppression from Anadrol, it's typically due to liver toxicity, just because of the liver hepatotoxicity that comes with taking Anadrol. And if your liver is getting strained massively, you can run into appetite suppression. But if you're not running into that liver toxicity, you will get that appetite spike, which again makes it excellent to deploy during a bulk. Again, one of the strongest orals ever made. This compound is literally designed to gain a shit ton of size quick, boost your strength through the roof, and overall just max your PRs like every week pretty much. But this does bring me into the sides now, okay? Because there are a lot of sides associated with Anadrol. It is a very toxic compound, which is why you don't take it if you're new. You should always start with a test base first. If you're brand new, low dose test, and then work your way up to the point where you've earned the right to take Anadrol or Tren or these toxic compounds that are up there on the list of toxicity, okay? Liver toxicity is absolutely, you're going to run into this, okay? The compound is so harsh that when you take it, it will boost liver enzymes. Depending on the dose, your liver enzymes could spike massively or light, depending on how you react genetically to orals. But you still will run into this, okay? AST, ALT will skyrocket. It is an oral, and a harsh oral, alkaline phosphatase can skyrocket too. So you don't want this to happen for too long. Having liver toxicity isn't the end all be all, but if you allow that compound to just sit in your system daily and allow that toxicity to build up, that's when you're at risk of liver damage in the future or liver failure, okay? If you take this shit for a very long period of time, you will run into liver damage, which you have to be aware of. Now, also water retention. Water retention is a huge side when it comes to taking Anadrol. You will typically see guys, if they have moon face, they get that overall bloated look. That's typically due to Anadrol. It's a very common side effect. Now, with water retention increase comes a blood pressure risk. The higher the amount of water that you're retaining, the higher the bloat, the worse your BP is going to get, which can cause stroke risk. You don't want your blood pressure to be skyrocketed ever taking gear, which is why you should have a blood pressure cuff on hand at all times. You want to keep this below 130/80 on your blast. When you're off, when you're cruising, keep it below 120/80. If it is skyrocketing above that, which is common taking Anadrol because of that bloat, you do want to either rethink taking the compound or figure out a way to get that back down. You always want to make sure you get to the root cause of the issue. If your blood pressure is spiking, figure out why and get it back down quick. You don't want that to be lingering high at all, ever. Now, another very common side effect you'll see with Anadrol is estrogenic related sides. Even without aromatizing, you can run into this taking this compound. Your estradiol can spike. You don't want to run into this. This can also add to that water bloating. In fact, you can get increased water retention, which already stacks on top of the previous water retention you're getting from the compound. Gynecomastia risk, also mental instability. You don't want to be running into this, and you have to be aware that you can run into this taking Anadrol. It's very common. This compound will also suppress you massively. Going back to that initial point that I made earlier in the video, you don't want your test production to be shut down for too long. It is common to be shut down during a blast, but you can't take this compound alone. You need a test base to ensure that you have stable hormone values. Your LH and FSH will absolutely tank taking Anadrol. Your natural test production will shut down. So if you don't have a test space, you're putting yourself at massive risk of a very harsh rebound when you go to your cruise or when you come off fully. You always want that test space. Now, cholesterol can also take a hit. Okay, cholesterol is another very common side effect. Your HDL can tank, LDL can increase, which you do not want. That does cause cardiovascular strain. This is another one of those compounds that hits massively on your cardiovascular system, which is why, again, you do not take it for a prolonged period of time. This is something that you deploy for a quick amount of time and then come off. So overall, Anadrol is an excellent compound, okay, if you're advanced. It is not something to be taken as a beginner. You will get very quick results in a very short amount of time in terms of your strength gains, in terms of your lean mass accrual. You will get that with Anadrol, but if you take it for too long, that's when the negatives will outweigh the pros, and that's when you're asking for a problem to arise. So as long as you deploy this shit properly, you have proper side mitigation in place, you're on top of your labs, making sure that your liver's in check, your cardiovascular system's in check, your cholesterol's in check. As long as all of this is in range, you will be good taking the compound, but just understand that it is one of those most toxic, most harsh compounds you can take, and you absolutely have to be on top of your health if you decide to deploy this shit. But when done properly, you will see massive results very quick. I love Anadrol. I won't take it again just because I'm past that point in my life taking blasts. But if you are new or intermediate or advanced and you are still taking cycles, this is an excellent compound to be deploying if you know what you're doing. So if you guys want me to give another breakdown for a compound, comment the compound you want me to make. I'm going to be making these daily. Like and subscribe if you want to see another one. See you guys in the next one.